doing, usually on Fridays, we do a form Friday. So everybody in the membership has an opportunity to share videos and ask questions, because I do understand that a lot of this stuff with the breathing and the positioning and the pelvic floor, it can be a little bit overwhelming, and you need someone to have eyes on you to help you like feel this stuff. And if you can't do small group and you can't do live classes, I do want you to be able to have access to me as long as you feel comfortable asking the questions. So we have a bunch of those. I was kind of waiting for Jamie to come on, but I'm going to talk about hinges because I literally talk about hinges every single fucking week. If you don't like swearing, you might not like me. We need to be able to get over the midfoot when you're performing a hinge. So like there's lots of things going on when we're hinging. So I'm going to show it from the side, and you guys can all do it with me if you want. You don't need to have a weight, but if you have a dumbbell, you can take a dumbbell and put it in your hand, and you're going to hold onto it lengthways. Okay. So if I held onto my dumbbell like this is like 15 pounds. This is my right foot. This is my left foot. You can look at my arch here as I am going into this hinge position. You want to see that my knee is kind of forward and that my butt is going back. So Maggie had questions about her hinge. There were a couple hinge questions. So like right now, I want to have my heel heavy, my knees going forward, and my butt is going back. So Sarah Hogan and Maggie, I want you to try this. Now I want you to try to rotate to your left with your sternum, and then I'm gonna have you rotate to your right with your sternum. But notice how my knee stays over my midfoot and my butt is reaching back. Okay, so we have hinging in every month of the programming, but as I continue to learn and explore, I just like to share it with everybody. So from this side, it would look like, see how my butt's reaching back, but my knee's still forward, and then I rotate to my right, rotate to my left, right? A lot of times we'll do things, I'm just on my own doing it. I'm just kidding. So say I'm here using myself. A lot of you guys worked out with me. Moving myself forward over that midfoot, the weight being there forces that more automatically. Okay. So lots of things all built into one. So
when you're rotating, are you like moving your pelvis at all? Or are you trying to keep your pelvis stationary?
I'm keeping my pelvis more stationary, and it's really the sternum that's rotating. So what you'll feel is like you're going into a little bit more external rotation, then you're going into a little bit more internal rotation. Oh, the woman I was waiting for is coming. Jamie had a question about SI joint pain, and this is like very like common concern, okay? Especially with pelvic floor issues. So right here, this is my sacrum, right? In a lot of people, this just gets so tight, right? I've done like the Build a Better Booty workshop, like that rotation that we just did was getting glute length to allow the pelvis to actually internally rotate, right? Which this little bit of movement can make a huge difference when it comes to deadlifting, getting a baby out, all of these things. So we want to, instead of like chronically tensing the posterior pelvic floor, we want to let the glutes lengthen. So that's like a big theme, right? That's why we incorporate rotation and the breathing. Jamie was saying she was having some like SI joint stuff. One of my favorite things to do is literally take like a towel and roll it up. It could be like a hand towel, roll it up, and you're going to literally place it at the sacrum while you're in like a 90-90 hold. Then you're going to breathe. You're going to breathe into your vagina and your asshole. Then we're going to think about, this is the left side of my sacrum. This is the right side of my sacrum. This is the top. This is the bottom. So what I'm going to take her through is called a sacral clock. You need to be able to have the pelvis rotate to the left, rotate to the right, posteriorly orient, and anteriorly orient, right? So you need to be able to touch down on all of those points. If you can't, then likely all those muscles are tight. How do we lengthen those? You could do it with pelvic floor PT, or you could learn to breathe into those areas. Okay, so that's what we're going to just review right now. It's on the portal. All this shit's on the portal. And Justine's gonna go through and show how we reorganized it over the summer. But I'm gonna demonstrate that. So if you have a hand towel, you can put that there. You could literally take like a sweatshirt, roll up like the arm of the sweatshirt. It doesn't have to be too thick. So literally I'll take a little like towel that I'll use like under people's feet. And I'm just gonna put that right underneath my sacrum. Now, Jamie has a little bit more of a forward pelvis, okay? So than I do. I more have like the tucked under presentation. So we're gonna have to play around with like, where exactly are we putting this on the sacrum, okay? So she's gonna put her feet up the wall at 90 degrees. I'm pinning myself so you can see me. So say I'm here. 90 degrees. I'm gonna put this underneath my sacrum. And then I want to be able to think about, can I feel my sacrum do this or do this? She's going to need a little bit more counter nutation. Okay. So we want to get her more into this position, whereas I need a little bit more of this position. So she's going to play around with where she has the towel. And then we're going to think about just like feet dragging down the wall lightly, low rib cage is exhaled back. And I want to be able to breathe into my asshole basically on the left side and on the right side. Okay, so you can think to yourself, can I drop my left hip kind of towards the ground, which is a hip shift? So if I looked at my knees, can my right knee reach long as I feel this part of the left sacrum on the like rolled up towel, right? So that's like me pulling to the left, right knee is long. Can I breathe there? And what does that feel like? This can be a hard one for some people. Are you kind of with me, Jamie? Because I'm just like staring at myself in the camera right now.
Yeah, I'm following.
Okay. So like just check in with what that feels like. Now shift to the right. Can you feel that on your right? So your left knee is longer.
Yes.
So what's easier, the left or the right?
It's actually easier for me to make my left knee go longer.
Right. So that's common, right? So when she's getting her left knee to go forward, she's getting into a right hip shift. Okay. So go bring your right knee longer so you're getting into your left side. So try to reach your right knee long.
That one's harder, and it's my right side that is jacked up, that's tight.
Well, right. And if you can't get off of the right to get into the left, like that's a thing.
Yep.
Okay. So now let's see, can you get more of like your tailbone, that part where you're going to dump your pelvis forward a little bit? Can you get that more in contact with like where the towel is? Right. So I'm kind of going to go more into an anterior tilt, but like for you, you're kind of already there. So maybe that's it. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do like 2 breaths there. So I'm still thinking like my low ribs are coming back. I'm dragging down with my heels. In my mind, because I know my left side's tighter, I'm more breathing into like the left side of like my asshole, like making sure everything's letting go. Like obviously I'm not clenching on my vagina. Then I'm gonna go under. So I'm gonna go into a posterior orientation, which like you're not in a lot. Think about getting the sacrum to counter nutate back. So like pushing pressure on that back point here. So you're almost tucking under, but you're not clenching on your butt to do it. So now you just made a clock. That's why it's called a sacral clock, right? But you didn't just do a sacral clock with your sacrum flat. You kind of allowed it to rotate a little bit more, right? So you did like left side, forward, right side, back. Okay. So I feel like if you can learn to breathe into all those positions, you're going to be able to access a hip shift better. But if you can't do it here, you're definitely not going to be able to fucking do it in standing.
Right.
You know what I mean? So like this could be something that's like nice and relaxing that you do, you know, on a weekly basis, just to be like, can I breathe into either side?
Okay.
So what I'd like to have you do is just like roll off to the side and then just like get up and walk around and just see what you feel like.
An old lady.
So like when you're walking, do you feel like any little bit of difference?
Not really. I think it will take some time. I mean, my right side is so tight. My acupuncture lady had me just about, she'd have peeled me off the ceiling a couple times, putting needles into that right side. So
Okay. Yeah, so let's think about like making that a priority and just seeing if you can really get the breath to go down there, because then it's gonna go like nicely with like the dry needling or whatever.
acupuncture, not dry needling. There's a difference.
Acupuncture, sorry. So just check back in with me about that. Okay.
will.
So another question was Tierney had a question about chin ups. So
Wait,
she
Stacy, before you move on, Christina, did you have a question about the sacral clock?
Actually, I just wanted to add that, Jamie, I bought the Ass and Abs program about a year ago and really committed to doing it every day, in like January. I had severe, sacral issues and sciatica and everything that you're saying I had on my left side. And it is a non-issue now. I can do anything. I can go run. I'm fine, even just on that 6 minutes a day. So I've learned a lot about how to move my body. And I just want to say, like, it does take time, but consistency.
And my issues are not like a constant thing. It comes and it goes. So, I mean, for
Yeah.
me, it's just more of the frustration. I'm like, oh, I thought I was fixed. And then something flares up and now it's just working through it again and trying to figure out the best way to do that. And I do incorporate the ass and abs stuff as some of them as part of my warm up that I do, that I have found that works for me. So it
could just be like a little bit longer, because like if you have that additional compensation of the pelvis like being very much forward, it just adds a whole nother layer of compensation on it. I think you are like headed in the right direction, but I totally get how you could be frustrated.
yes, it's awesome.
Sorry. But I'm here to help as I can. So
I know.
Tierney was asking about chin ups. I just wanted to show you all the different ways that you could do a chin up. You don't need to do it from a bar. You can do it from rings in a like deep squat position. So like they were all looking good to her. On her when she demonstrated them. I'm just always cautious, like when people are coming back from having babies, just like don't fucking rush it, because you have the rest of your life to do it. And it's a lot easier to get into like a good stacked position if I'm here and I exhale my ribs back, then I can stay in a stacked position. So what I had said to her was, maybe, oh, speak of the fucking devil, here she comes. What I had said to her was, I want her to go back and do the chin up challenge. So we have like an 8-week chin up challenge that's really about the positioning, but you are hanging from the bar, right? Because we just want to be able to like ease our way into these things. And what I want you guys to understand, who might be newer and wondering about the membership, is like, this is what I focus my time in on. Like, I want to be able to help people who are inside the membership. You don't need to be a small group client, but you do need to be willing to like post a video of yourself or ask a question, and then I will help you. But like, I'm not going to be able to do the work for you. So like, you're a great fit if you're willing to ask questions and do the work. Tierney, I was just talking about you and your chin ups. And then I talked a little bit about her deadlift position. Just take an exhale and exhale your low ribs back before you get the weight up, right? You do the exhale, but then just think about those lowermost ribs coming back just a little bit more, because as we start to get heavier, that's probably going to be like the weakest point. So what I said to her was like, we could take 2 really heavy kettlebells and start to progress you to heavier loads postpartum. But let's think about getting into the position where I can really think about my lats being on and the low ribs being back, right? Instead of sort of like a little bit of rounding through the upper body. So that's how we're going to like overload you as we move forward. I hope that that's helpful, but definitely go back to like the first couple exercises in the first 4 weeks, and then the like 6, 7, and 8 of the chin up challenge, and practice some of those exercises from hanging. Just because I do see that little bit of rotation through your torso. Meredith had asked about a bear hip shift. This is just the easiest way for me to coach through a bear hip shift because I do feel like you can really like not get this right. And then you're like, I don't even know what I'm feeling. Okay. And then we're going to get on with all the things. Okay. Here comes Lauren. 1 second. So I'm going to show it from the front. If I go to do a hip shift, Jamie was just doing it on the ground, right? She said, it's easier for me to reach my left leg long, which is pulling the right hip back, right? So it was harder for her to shift her right knee forward. I'm going to do the bear position of what Jamie did. Okay, that's the next level of it. But it doesn't really work like that. Like, I can't say everybody's going to be able to do it on their back or everybody's going to be able to do it in prone. We have to kind of play around with each person because we're all a little bit different. Okay, so this is the version that I find is the most helpful, is near a wall. Okay, so if I take my yoga block, I'm going to push my left knee into the block. You're going to look at my femur and you're going to make sure that my femur is in a line like hip and knee. So I see this a lot. You're not going to get anything out of that. You're not pushing the femur back in the socket at all. My left foot is pulling up the wall behind me and my right foot is against the wall. I'm going to inhale to drop the right hip down. And then I'm going to exhale, open the hip or hike the hip a little bit. Okay, I'm not hiking the hip toward my ribs, but I'm taking my right hip higher. And I can turn the camera too. So inhale down, staying over the left. Exhale up. Now, Jamie, you could try this on your right side and maybe this helps you because you have the ability to use this hamstring to stay in a good position, okay? So if I'm here, I drop down and then I go up. Notice I'm not going up like a hike, right? These are all little tricks that our body will do to try to access internal rotation that we don't have, okay? So I can see that when you post a video of it, right? I'll be able to see what it is that your body's doing. But again, like this is literally all I need to reiterate is like, the more you share, the more you feel comfortable, the more I'm going to be able to help you. And that's like what I want to do. That's what these Forum Fridays are for, to hold you accountable. That's what our coaching calls are all about. Yeah. So I went over hinges, I went over chin-ups, sorry. And then the hip shift. Cool. Justine's going to go because she's really great at talking.
I mean, you just talked a lot. You're good at talking about body stuff. I'm good at talking about the membership. I guess I should quickly introduce myself to those of you that don't know. I've been working out with Stacy for like, I don't know, 10, 11 years now.
Okay.
And when COVID happened and we brought our business online, I've been helping her, I don't know, do all the business stuff and like the technical back end stuff, because she's good at working out and I'm good at tech stuff. But yeah, just a quick plug for Stacy because I love her. Not only is she an amazing trainer, she's an incredible friend, and I love like just how good her heart is, right? Like it's so hard to get the kind of access to a brain like hers, especially in a like remote or Zoom setting without like paying hundreds of dollars a session to like drive somewhere and see someone in person. But like she said, like you've got to make the effort, right? Even for the first, like, I don't know, 7 years or whatever that I was like working out with Stacy, it took me getting super serious, super consistent, like doing little silly breathing and like alignment exercises like daily before I saw significant change. So yeah, but what I wanted to also just talk about, we've had Move Your Body, like the online portal, which is all the workouts in the membership for like almost it's been 3 years now, which is kind of hard to imagine. And so over time, Stacy's gone from having just a few months of content to I think 30, we're working on month 31 at this point. Tons and tons and tons of stuff in there. It got to the point where we had to like kind of update the design of the organization because there was a lot of stuff in there and it was time for a change. So I'm going to share my screen and kind of give you all, and feel free to just like interrupt if you have a question. Like if you're a member already, or if you want to become one, you would come in on Stacy's site, you hit membership login, you'll have a login, Then you'll have a couple different ways that you can access all of the programs in there. So this is the main Move Your Body membership. Over here you have quick links. So like there's a monthly coaching call. It's usually the first Sunday of the month at 10 a.m. Eastern. It's kind of like this. Sometimes there's special guests, but it's really what the membership needs at that time. What we've had guests talk about, like tapping and minerals and foot stuff, and we've had all kinds of cool guests come, or it's really just a Q&A. There's also a quick link to the Facebook group. And even if you're like super anti-Facebook, I would say that like create a fake name. We can help you with that, like whatever, because when Stacy says like, you know, the people that succeed are the ones that are willing to share videos, like I don't want anyone to feel self-conscious. Like that's everyone is doing that, right? You scroll through here and that's just like so much of that. There's pictures of our food, right? Like sometimes I'm gonna be honest, like that's not the prettiest picture of food I've ever seen, but like
They will not ever be pretty, please.
yeah, like we're sharing pictures of our slop and how we get like our protein targets. You know, here's Stacy's most recent like round of slop. I think there's a picture of some of I make prettier dinners, but that's because I like to cook. So like there's just so much good stuff in here, right? And so that's linked to right from the portal as well. But if you come in here, you know, one of the most important things to do, like what you just saw with Stacy, like working with Jamie, working with other people, because she's seen the way that they move and she understands like what their specific like pelvic orientations are. And it's kind of impossible for Stacy to help you succeed if you don't do like these self-assessments, for instance. So even if you've been a member forever and you haven't done these and shared them with her, understanding when she was talking about like internal and external rotation, that's all like the hip rotation thing. And then the other big one is understanding like if you can move your arms overhead, right? But like if you've had a baby, there's postpartum on purpose. Everybody when they first get started should do 2 weeks of Jumpstart. But then from here, you've got a ton of options, right? If you're really limited on time, like if you just have 6 minutes a day, there's a program called Ass and Abs. If you just want like maybe 20 or 30-minute sessions, there's this whole like sweat session area. There's something we called Fast Fitness. I'm traveling right now. I'm visiting family. I don't have any equipment. There's a whole body weight workout session that I use all the time.
I'm gonna ask a question.
Yeah.
I know that some people are in here maybe asking about nutrition. So I don't want anybody to feel like, oh my God, I need to make all of these changes, right? Like you just need to be realistic with the time that you have available, but like ask the question. So like Justine, when you go into like the nutrition part of the portal, she's going to show you that we have tracks. So say you're starting with nutrition, there's a track for nutrition paired with ass and abs. If I can commit to ass and abs 6 minutes a day, I can do my nutrition with that. If I can you know, commit to like 24 to 36 minutes, then I can do fast fitness with that. Not every single person in the group is doing the same thing all the time. And like what we don't want is for you to be overwhelmed. I want you to think about this as like, I'm trying to cater to all the different people that come in here. Right.
Yep.
And then just ask the questions, just feel comfortable asking, because like, I know that like, that's my strong suit, is to be able to like, look at what you have going on and be like, hey, try this. Hey, try that. Okay. It's never
Yep. And if you ever feel overwhelmed, like some people are just like, I'm going to give up. Like that's where you've got to come like either privately to Stacy, into the group, like
I ain't a
whatever. and say,
goddamn
like,
mind reader.
yeah, like you got to come and just ask for help. There's no shame in that, right? Like if you're just like, there's so many things, I don't know which one to click, like that's fine. Ask for help. That's why we're here. But yeah, so each of these months, we'll have like the different workouts. And so there's a calendar. And so if you come in here and you say, I want to go look at the calendar, you probably can't see that because it opened in my preview instead of in the web. Hold on just a second.
So I'm weird, one of those weird people that I like to like write everything down. If you saw in my office, like I have notebooks everywhere. I understand that's totally not the thing for some people, but just like having an idea, you do not need to
Yep.
follow this to a T at all, but just being like,
Yeah.
we're gonna get 3 to 4 strength days in, and then you're gonna walk.
Yep. Yeah. And then like for people if like, oh, well, can't work out on Mondays. Okay, fine. Work out on Tuesdays, right? Like it doesn't matter, but this is an example of like how you kind of want to structure your week. And so the other things that you'll find in here, so like every there's There's a like 3 or 4 days of programming. And so there's a combination of like each of these videos is like, I don't know, anywhere between 30 seconds and maybe like 3 minutes long. So the first time you go through a workout, you might be like watching each of these videos to understand how to do it correctly. Stacy offers lots of modifications and cues. And so you would work through this. I know that by the time like I do it for like the second or third time, like I know it pretty well. I don't have to watch the videos anymore. I just sort of follow it along. Usually there's also a live class variation too. So if like you just want to hit play and like work out with people on a recording for like an hour, if you don't have an hour, you can hit this little thing right here and then say, I want to do it at 1.5 or 2x speed, depending on how quickly you can listen and follow along or how much time you've got. So lots of options in here. I know we don't have a ton of time, but are there any questions about just like the workout piece of it before I go and show what's in nutrition? And
Don't
you
be
can
shy.
use the chat or you can, yeah, a good calendar. Yeah, there's like good calendars and again, just helps keep you on track.
I was getting a question from Karen. Is it suitable for 47-year-old perimenopause? I had a diastasis, hernias repaired.
Yes.
And I just said, yeah. And you don't need a lot of equipment. So like what I would think for you, Karen, is that you would pair nutrition with ass and abs, or you would pair nutrition with fast fitness. And you literally can do fast fitness with a wedge underneath the equipment section. And I think I sent you an email. You could do it with a set of dumbbells and a single kettlebell. Literally, I'll say like you will want these equipment, and then as you go through, you can slowly add on. Because again, we have like 31 months of programming, so we have got more equipment as we've gone along, but it's nothing really insane to me, anyways.
Yeah, you don't need much to get started. Especially if like you only have 6 minutes a day and you just want to do ass and abs, you need like what, a yoga
wall
block
and,
and
like-
a chair and a wall. Yeah.
Just start.
Mhm. So I've been busy updating the nutrition challenge portal, so this probably looks new to most of you. And so it's still a work in progress, but lots of good stuff in here too. So for
Look at
instance,
that card
like,
at the top. That
yeah,
part at
be
the
sure to
top.
log 3 to 5 days of your normal eating and nutrition habits before getting started. So
That's why we're doing this meeting now, because I want you to have an idea of where you are starting from so that you're not overwhelmed when we get started.
well, and also like I think this part that you mentioned is really fine. Like if you don't already have an awareness of what you're doing today, when you go to change your behavior, like you're gonna like you might feel like crap. Like if you go from eating like a whole lot of food to eating like no food, then you're not gonna feel very good. And so to like know where you start from, and again being honest with yourself, like no one's gonna look at your food log. So don't feel like you have to be like good or moral, like no judgment here. Like if you're, you know, whatever, it's just, it is what it is. So you've got to know
Other
where you're
thing-
starting in order to proceed.
If you remember, you do have access to me one-on-one, right? Like I don't do one-offs like to people that aren't in the membership, but if you wanted to do that, you always have access to me if that makes you feel more comfortable. So
And so like as the challenge progresses, you'll see like, you know, reminders here or in these links right here, another great feature of the new like portal designs. And so like one of the first things you're going to want to do is log 3 to 5 days of your normal eating habits. Then you'll come in and watch the masterclass. And this is all about macros. Like I see tons of people all over the place that don't understand macros. They don't understand like, but it's really simple. It's just protein, carbs, and fat, and understanding how those interact with one another. So depending on what your goals are, there's 2 different worksheets, right? One is all about what we're calling like fat loss. But then the other one is all about like strength gains and just overall health, energy. I know that Stacey really likes to recommend that you start with the strength gains template because it's where, frankly, most people, especially like busy moms that need their energy, should be starting. So we make it again super simple. And then you'll notice that in week 1, you'll see that there's your first goal is to try to eat 25 grams of protein in your first meal, and you'll be really focused on hitting a protein goal every day. And a lot of people have questions, sometimes struggle with getting enough protein, and that really becomes a focus of the Facebook group too. You'll see lots of pictures, like lots of people sharing tips about how they're hitting their protein goals. And there's lots of, again, suggestions in here and even a whole Google Doc full of more high protein ideas. But the way that the challenge works, right, is that Stacy mentioned the calendar, and then it's gonna do, aha, I fooled it. No, it did this thing where it's gonna open again. Hold on 1 second. There we go. And so you'll see like everyone follows the same nutrition track, but if you only have 6 minutes a day, you would just do ass and abs. If you're on just like whatever month portal that you're in, like if you're on month 13, great. If you're on month 25, whatever, just go and do the workout in the portal. But if you really want like to do fast fitness and you want to do like those 25, 35-minute workouts, you can go and do fast fitness workouts. But yeah, you get an email every day, and it tells you what to do. Like for instance, like on Monday when we kick off the challenge, it'll be all about getting 25 grams of protein and planning for your week, and making sure that like you aren't, I don't know, stuck in Michigan at your family's house and you don't have a plan, right? You want to think about what you're going to do in advance. Like I travel with a bag of snacks now because I've done this a few times, right? So I always have high protein things to keep me
And
satisfied.
the thing is, like, life is always going to happen. So people be like, I need to wait because of this. I need to wait because of this. There's always parties, graduations, like holidays. It's like, learn how to do it now so that when life is crazy, because it's always going to be, you know how to do it.
Yep, exactly. Questions about nutrition challenge? What it entails? How it works?
Everybody's
Y'all are really quiet. Is a current member want to talk about how awesome it is? Or what they've learned?
So I've been doing nutrition with Stacy for, I don't even know, Stace, like 8, 9 years,
Yes.
a long time, right? So there are women like Justine and I who have been working with Stacy for a very long time and have these really big rocks nailed down. Like I can get 115 grams of protein throughout my day, no problem. I don't even need to think about it anymore. I would say for women who are just joining, maybe thinking about participating in the nutrition challenge, don't get overwhelmed. Don't feel like you're behind. Ask the questions. And we're really all here to help you. Like Justine and I and Meredith and so many other women have all of these great tips and tricks. Like Justine travels with snacks. I have a toddler. I also travel with snacks, but most of them are like goldfish, right? That's not going to satisfy Justine or I, but a 2-year-old, perfect. Like Greek yogurt, nuts, things like that. That's more satiating. It will keep you fuller longer. So I would say just don't compare yourself to others. People are on this journey and none of us are at the same spot, right? We're just in it together.
Well said. Cool. Well, if you're new to this, the membership, so the only way you can get in the nutrition challenge is to be a member. And so this is the page that all talks about membership. And so stuff that you get, right? Access to cool women, like you can see that we're all very normal in this group. We get access to the Facebook group, those portals that I just showed you, all of the workouts, right? Like 30 months of programming, stuff that's like diastasis and like postpartum and perimenopause, all of that stuff, we've got it covered. You get access to Stacy, which is incredible. Actually, I think that's Meredith's pictures. If you want to see, like, even this is me, right? So I ended up losing like 30 pounds over the last couple of years. I finally got serious and consistent. Also, my blood work is like finally all back in the normal ranges again, which is awesome. And so like there's like 2 levels of membership. There's a DIY membership, which is what most of us do. It's $79 a month. But then there's also, if you want a one-on-one assessment and you want to get started with a like private session with Stacy, like you kind of saw earlier, for her to understand your hip rotation and your overhead reach, and for her to say like, here are some specific things in the portal that I think you should get started with that are good for your specific situation. The DIY with assessment is perfect. She also has other options like live classes. There's like a Wednesday and Friday live class over Zoom.
Yeah, we
She
just
also
don't
does
have to
small
talk
groups.
about all of them because it
Yeah.
overwhelms people, but if you ask me, I take
Yeah.
from the membership to get into the small group, and then the live classes are great if you can make a 7 a.m. Eastern on Wednesday and an 8 a.m. Eastern on Friday.
But these are the two most important ones that you should know about. But if you're like, hey, I want more individual stuff, those options are available to you and you should know that they exist. So that's kind of the gist.
Can you get out of share screen so I can see someone's face that just came on, maybe?
Yeah.
I wanted to see if Karen Smith was actually on here, because then she can say, oh, Karen Che can say hi to Meredith because she hasn't seen her in a long time.
Oh my gosh. Guys, I'm in the car and I'm stressed out because I'm like 7 minutes from my house and I'm like, I want to be on this call.
Aw, it's nice to hear. Like, gosh, I haven't seen you in years.
I know. Oh, I see you, Meredith. Hi.
I don't see you, but I hear you, and that counts.
I miss you guys. I wish I lived closer because I would be working out with you way more often.
Well, maybe
No.
this can help. I don't know. What I'm trying to do for this month is just give a little bit more like one-to-one, like jumping on for these things, you know. And I know some people are like burnt out from Zoom and stuff like that, but like really don't be afraid to ask questions if you're struggling with something. And hopefully, like you guys can see now, we're all just regular nice people.
Normal.
Yeah. I will add, I'm doing this elimination diet this month. So if there's anyone here who like has to avoid certain foods, I'm going to be posting what I find that I can eat that is high protein. It might not be helpful to anyone, but just in case, I thought I'd throw that in there.
Yeah, so I
That's
can touch on this like a little bit more, because a lot of women that do come to me like on the hypermobility spectrum, they might have autoimmune stuff going on. Like that's a common theme, right? If you have been pushed over that autoimmune spectrum, you might have to change some of the ways that you're eating, right? So a big, like when people are asking me about like perimenopause, now a lot of us are like late 30s, early 40s, like shit's changing a little bit. There's no point in doing those functional like diagnostic testing, like Dutch test, like stool test, if you do not have the basics down, right? Like don't waste your money until you have the foundations down. If you're like shoving coffee down your throat 24/7 and you're fasting until noon and you're wondering why your hormones are off, like let's get that in check first. If you're not sleeping, let's think about the lifestyle habits first. It'll save you a lot of money down the line, right? So I just want to like reiterate that sometimes it can be like you're not eating regularly enough. Like it could be that something, you know, where you take a month, 2 months, 3 months to really just focus in on these lifestyle habits, you might end up feeling a lot better, and you're going to go into those tests that you might want to do in the future being a little bit less overwhelmed when you go to take the next step, right? Because like I was saying, I'm adding on with this nutrition challenge. We're going to talk a little bit more about minerals. I think that that's applicable to everybody, and just thinking about food from a nutrition standpoint, as opposed to just thinking about it from like protein and calories. We're going to think about food from more of a nutrient standpoint. Any other questions? No.
And I'm one of those DIYers that has been on here for 3-ish years. So one of the things that I really like is I have learned so much through this. Like I just haven't felt motivated to follow your design workouts, but I have learned so much from you that I write stuff down too. So I am literally this month, it just says whatever day 1, whatever day 2, and I'm just taking those big things that I've learned from Stacy and her programming and just being able to take them like, okay, well, I know I'm going to do a deadlift, a squat, and a bench variation these 3 days. Here's what I'm going to pair it with, and here's some accessories to go with it. And there's all stuff that I've learned from Stacy.
Well, I think that this is important.
Really nice.
Because here's the thing, like you can take this anywhere, right? So like if I don't want to do like a kettlebell deadlift, I don't want to do a double kettlebell deadlift. You can fucking do a trap bar deadlift, but you're going to get better at doing the deadlift coming from the right place when you have access to more internal rotation. So there's a couple women that are just like you, like Melissa, Jill, like we talk and interact, right? Like what's going to be the best bench press variation for me using this equipment that I have access to, right? I'm just
Right.
Yeah, I'm not trying to grow this membership to be like 1,000 fucking people, because then I wouldn't be able to interact with everybody. But like, I like it, so I can interact with all you guys as long as you're doing the work, right?
Yeah, and I've had my deadlift has progressed where I couldn't do a deadlift, and I have a trap bar at home, and I've got a regular barbell at home, and I have a big ass kettlebell. So my deadlift is in a place where I'm like, you know what? I think I'm going to do trap bar this month. And then the next month, I'm going to break out the big old kettlebell this month. And maybe I just want to do a traditional deadlift or whatever it is. So it's been really nice having those tools in my toolbox to be able to progress from not being able to do shit to being able to pull more than my, 1.5 times my body weight.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. I mean, maybe you're in a spot of life where you only have 6 minutes a day. Maybe you're in a spot of life where you have access to a whole bunch of great equipment and you want to use it, like, or anywhere in between.
But if you've never had, like, I don't know, if you've never had an issue in your life and like you can go do like a hardcore Peloton workout, then Move Your Body probably isn't for you. It's more for people who do need to think about like the way they're positioning themselves, or maybe their feet feel tight, or, you're having painful sex or incontinence, things like that. Like, I'm here to help you figure out what's going on with your body and like get you back into those things that you want, using like giving you more tools, like what Jamie was saying, like foot stuff, like, I don't know, just outside the box things that you might not get other places, but we're still all going to be doing squats, hinges, pulling,
You're not going to catch me back squatting ever again, but that's okay.
Right. Don't have to.
And I don't have to, but I am getting that movement and I'm getting it in a better way for me and my body.
For
so
long term.
Yeah. So I don't do a workout and then hate my life for the next week because I hurt my back or whatever it is.
Right.
So relatable. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I can still push it.
Right. In a different way.
Yes.
All right. You can always email me if you have questions. And like I said, maybe you start to create that awareness, you start tracking, and then you want to sign up, because we are going to not kick off until September 11th, but the closing is going to be the 8th, because I do want to have like those emails start getting sent out to you guys in time. And if you just wanted to join Move Your Body and not even do the nutrition component, you're not missing out on anything. It's not like you're paying extra or anything like that. You get access to both, because I do believe that they both go hand in hand to create this lifestyle that I'm looking to help share with women. And that's it.
Thanks to everyone that came.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah. This is fun.
Happy Friday. I hope everyone's children end up going back to school if you have children. It's nice to see some of your faces who I haven't seen in a long time.
Mine are already there, but they're off today.
Oh, yeah. Mine are here.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.